Hey, today, we're exploring a crossover you never knew you needed. What if Deku was in my favorite idol, Deku x Ai Hoshino, Part 1. Brace yourselves for the unexpected. Don't miss out on daily My Hero Academia fanfictions on my second channel, Snuggy Dude. Hit subscribe and find the link in the description. Now, let's dive into this epic crossover. Let the adventure begin. In a big stadium, a large audience shouted loudly with excitement. Or better said, lights turn on to point to a stage showing three girls. In this world, mostly, it's fiction. The audience goes crazy as the girls smile. We create it, exaggerate it, and clearly hide the parts that don't suit us. The girls start waving with big smiles while the audience goes wild. For example, being a fan means expecting your idol to be a big liar. One of the girls with purple hair and small stars in her eyes smiled to make a heart with her hands. Hospital. In the world of entertainment, lying is a weapon. A black-haired man with glasses exclaimed, raising glow sticks in front of a TV. I wanted to adore your cuteness in real life. Ku. The absolute ace of idol groups be Komachi. Question mark 2, don't be exaggerated, Goro. Said a green-haired boy with small stars in his eyes and freckles on his cheeks, holding glow sticks too. Goro, don't act like you don't want to, Izuku. Said as Izuku nodded slightly while waving the sticks energetically. The unwavering center with unmatched beauty, age 16. Ai Goro, it's been 4 years since her debut, she slowly but effectively gained popularity, her media exposure also increased, it's like her time has finally come. Izuku, that's right. Her stardom begins here. Goro/Izuku, and now. Nurse, ahem, couldn't you watch that at home? Said, drawing the attention of both men. Why are you watching an idol's DVD in the hospital room of your patient? It's weird when you think about it, right? Izuku, studies show that seeing things that stimulate the patient's happiness make them experience a faster recovery, said while putting the sticks inside his coat. Izuku occupation, assistant to Dr. Goro. Nurse, that's you, and you, doctor? What do you have to say? Goro, seeing beautiful things is good for your health, that's my professional opinion, said, adjusting his glasses. Goro occupation, doctor in the gynecology department. Nurse, isn't that not what he said? Are you sure you're not trying to convert patients? Said as both had a drop of sweat and laughed lightly. Goro, that's because they won't have any live events in a rural area. Izuku, that's our duty as doctors, said as Goro nodded frantically while the girl sighed. Nurse, just don't make it a problem from our professional hospital point of view, said before remembering something. Speaking of which, there was a trending topic on Twitter since early. Hospital roof. Goro, AI is going on vacation? Nurse, oh, you and your idol are very dedicated to her, right? Well, not so much, you said as Izuku laughed lightly while scratching his head. Izuku, okay, don't cry, said as he patted Goro on the back. Nurse, isn't she 16? It's a bit creepy for you guys. Izuku, but I'm only 18, said as a sweat drop appeared on the girl. The weird one is Goro. Goro, please, don't say it like that. Said with comic tears, I have my own reasons. As a doctor, they often relocate you. But this is the same hospital where I did my residency, like Izuku. Flashback. Goro, even back then, I used to hang out in the patients' rooms. Doctor, go to work. A younger Goro was leaning against a wall while watching a little girl using the computer. Goro, one of the patients I met back then changed my life. Okay. So, this is me. She's really good at dancing. Goro, I see. Said for the girl to turn and look at him. Serena patient. Serena, Aripian and Kunpan are good at singing, but if I have to choose who to lean towards, it would definitely be her. She said before pointing at the screen. Wow. She's the same age as me, and yet she's much more mature, good at singing and dancing, and, above all, she's very cute. If I were to be reborn, I'd want to have a face like hers. Goro, reincarnation? Stop with those nonsense, he said as Serena sighed. Serena, you're a party pooper, she said, then turned to look out the window. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be born as a celebrity? If you had the connections and the appearance from the start? Goro, nope, he said as Serena looked at him with a poker face. Serena, so, you really don't have any dreams? She said as Goro sighed. Goro, you're very lovely, Serena. There's no need for you to be reborn. You can become an idol after you get discharged, and I'll be your fan. Serena, really? She asked with a big smile before hugging Goro. I love you, please marry me. Goro, that would result in social suicide, so no. Serena, how moralistic, she said, pouting. Goro, sorry for that. I'll consider it when you reach the legal age. Serena, 16, huh? She said while looking at the ceiling. You mean? Goro, I'd say it's a reasonable plan. Goro stared at the photo of the deceased girl, with small tears streaming from his eyes. End of flashback. Goro, astrocytoma plastico, she was only 12 at that time. If she were alive right now, she would be 16, just like I. Maybe I still see Serena in the idol she loved and admired. I want to watch over those who want to walk the same path she wanted to walk. Izuku, Goro. That story. He said with teary eyes. Nurse, in the end, you're a disgusting pervert. Izuku, don't you have a heart? He said in shock, looking at the woman. Goro, didn't you pay attention? I would say it was a very sentimental episode. Nurse, your enthusiasm seems too lively. Are you sure you're not using Serena to justify your lust? Izuku, don't be foolish. He's not capable of doing something like that. Right, doctor? Goro, I swear by Serena that my feelings are pure. Nurse, but if that girl I asked you out, you would say yes, right? Goro froze while Izuku and the woman stared at him. He just turned around to give them his back. Goro, snack time is over, it's time to get back to work. Izuku, doctor? Nurse, what happened to swearing on Serena? Goro just turned around to re-enter the building. Izuku and the woman watched as he disappeared, and Izuku sighed. Izuku, I never saw him like that, he said, slightly surprised. Nurse, you two get along well. Izuku, he took me in when I arrived here. When I felt lonely, he accompanied me. I owe him everything, he said with a small smile. Nurse, and you? What's your reason for this addiction to the idol? Izuku, it amuses me? He said as the woman raised an eyebrow. I don't have a sad story like him. I just like what she does, that's all. Nurse, would you go out with her? Izuku, me? I don't think so, he said as the woman looked confused. While I would feel honored if a woman like her asked me out, I don't feel up to it. I don't feel ready for love, he said as he started walking to the door. The green-haired man opened the door and then stood still for a few seconds before looking at the woman. Izuku, but who knows, maybe someone will change my mind, he said, laughing lightly, and then entered. Nurse, men, she said, sighing. Hospital room. A man and a girl were sitting in chairs, waiting. At that moment, Izuku and Goro entered through the door. Izuku, hi, thanks for waiting, he said as he noticed Goro deep in thought. Goro, so, I is having health problems. That's concerning. I hope she returned safely, he thought, feeling an elbow nudge from Izuku that brought him out of his thoughts. Sorry, he said with a small smile, now I have to focus on the task at hand. Izuku, is this your first time here, Miss Hoshino? He said, looking at the chart with the information sheet. Hoshino, yes, said the girl with purple hair wearing a cap that covered her face. Goro, from what I can see, she's about 20 weeks in, a bit late for her first checkup, he thought as Izuku handed him the chart, and he began to read it. She's 16, I see how it is. I can't talk to anyone about it, and it ends up like this. Izuku, are you her relative? He said as the man nodded slightly nervously. Man, on paper, yes. He said as Izuku nodded. She grew up in an orphanage, so basically, I'm her only guardian. Goro, I see. A 16-year-old girl who grew up in an orphanage, her story sounds familiar, almost like the idol's. At that moment, Hoshino took off her cap, revealing her face to be the idol, Ai. Both boys were shocked but tried their best not to show it. Man, is there a possibility of severe constipation? Goro, if that were the case, she would already be dead. Ai, don't worry. I had no problems today. She said with a big smile and a thumbs up. Goro, well, let's take a look, okay? It takes a bit of preparation, so please give me a moment, he said as he left the room. Izuku, he said slightly nervous, left alone there. Ai, your eyes are like mine, she said, catching the green-haired boy's attention. The stars, she said while pointing at her eyes. Izuku, oh? Yes, I've been told that a lot. Ai, they're beautiful, she said as Izuku smiled slightly. Izuku, thank you very much. Goro, Izuku, can you come for a moment? He peeked through the door. Izuku, oh. Why yes, he said as he followed Goro. Both exited the room for Goro to bang his head against the wall, slightly startling Izuku. Izuku, Goro? He said, and Goro grabbed his shoulders. Goro, it's her, right? He whispered as Izuku nodded. Izuku, I think so. Although she could be someone who looks a lot like her, right? He said, slightly nervous. Goro, it's her, no doubt, he said while shaking the green-haired boy. Izuku, oh okay. If it's her, he said, feeling dizzy as Goro let him go. Goro, she's so cute, he said while holding his face with a blush, but that's not all. She's pregnant. He said, falling to the floor and breaking the wall with his head. Izuku, this guy has lost it, he thought with a sweat drop. Man, tell me the truth, how did this happen? His voice was hurt, grabbing the attention of Izuku and Goro. Why didn't you consult me, your boss? Who is the father? Goro, yeah, that's the question, he thought as he leaned near the door with Izuku. Well. It's a secret. She said while sticking out her tongue with a smile. Izuku, a secret, well. I didn't expect her to say it so casually. Goro, come on, he said, catching Izuku's attention. Izuku, yeah. Examination room. Goro was checking Ai's belly. On the screen, he saw 2 bumps as Izuku and he were surprised. Moments later. Goro, well, the results say that. He said as he put the x-rays on the light. You're 20 weeks pregnant, and they are twins. Man/Ai, twins. Izuku, congratulations, he said with a smile. Twins. She whispered with a slight blush. Man, are you sure you want to go through with this? He said, grabbing Ai's attention. If the world finds out you're pregnant at 16, it would be the end for you, for me, and for our office. I thought for a few seconds, then turned to look at Izuku and Goro. The green-haired boy's eyes connected with Ai's for a moment, allowing her to feel what was going on. What do you guys think? Both boys looked at each other for a few seconds before looking at Ai. Waiting room. Izuku, well, in the end, it's her decision, he said while opening a can of soda. Goro, all we can tell her is to think it over carefully, he said while opening a can of coffee. Izuku, after all, we are doctors. Goro, doctors. He said, taking a sip of his coffee. Both started walking, stopping when they saw the news on the television. Comedian Pawn A and idol Miyu announce marriage and pregnancy. Extra 1, oh my god. Seriously? Extra 2, and I really like Miyu, darn it. Extra 1, wait, so in other words, if I die now, I won't have the chance to be reborn as their child? Extra 2, you're weird, but you're right. Izuku, oh my, he thought in shock at what the guys were saying. Goro, what a lovely thought, he thought with a sweat drop. Extra 1, but you know. Can you support an idol who's going to have a child with another man? Goro froze while Izuku looked at him. Goro just glanced out of a window to see the night sky. Hospital rooftop. Goro exited through the door, looking at the sky before sighing. Goro, even if you like a man, will I still support you, but if you have a child, will you be able to keep flying so high? He thought as he walked towards the rooftop railing. Goro, fans are usually very selfish. Don't you think so, Serena? He said while looking at a picture of the girl. Izuku, now that I know your story, I can't call you crazy every time you talk to the screen, he said, catching Goro's attention. Goro, Izuku, he said as the green-haired boy approached. Izuku, she was very cute, he said, looking at Serena's image. Goro, yeah, she was very cute, he said, looking at the image with a conflicted expression. Izuku, you're having doubts, aren't you? Goro, huh? Izuku, you feel like you won't be able to support her if she has the kids, right? He said as Goro stayed silent. I thought the same, but you know. Who are we to decide her happiness? Goro, what? Izuku, at that moment. I looked into her eyes, felt what she felt for a moment. There was a hint of fear. But there was also happiness, not the common happiness people feel about becoming parents. I felt hope. I don't want to take away her hope, I wouldn't feel capable. Do you understand what I'm saying? Goro, yes. I think so, he said with a small smile, looking at Serena's image. Thank you, Izuku. Oh, it's you guys, she said, catching the attention of the 2 boys. Goro, Hoshino. Izuku, the night breeze isn't good for your health, he said as I just smiled faintly. I'm wearing more than 1 layer, so I'm fine, she said with a small smile, joining both of them. You know, I decided to come here because my boss recommended it, but it's very nice. Even in the evening, I can see the stars clearly, unlike in Tokyo. Goro, you came all the way from Tokyo. Izuku, aren't you afraid people will find out? Did I mention my job? She said as Izuku and Goro got nervous. Izuku, Goro, we had a patient who was a fan of yours, he said as Izuku sighed in relief. Darn it, I thought it would be okay here. Even the doctors are old grandpas, she said as Izuku and Goro looked each other up and down. And no, not you guys, sorry, she said, then lowered her gaze. I guess you can't hide your aura, looks like I've been found out, she said and thought with a smile, both boys getting a sweat drop. Izuku, she's self-assured, it's kind of cute. Goro, are you going to give up being an idol? I'm not going to give up. Goro, but that. I don't have a family, but I've always wanted one, she said as Goro stayed silent. The ones inside me are twins, right? When they're born, I'm sure they'll be very noisy, and will become a lively family. Izuku just looked at Ai, who also turned to look at him. They locked eyes again, and the green-haired boy felt that euphoric and fearful sensation once more. Ai, I'll bring light to my children and keep being an idol. Goro, so, you mean? Ai, yep. It won't be public. She said as Goro was slightly surprised. Idols are like ideals, creatures shining with a magic called lies. A lie is an exceptional form of love. A true top idol can hide one or two children. Ai, telling lie after lie, no matter how tough life gets, on stage, we sing like the happiest people. That's what it means to be an idol. She said with a big smile. Ai, but still, I want my happiness to be real. No one realizes, but we fear emotions and a life too. She said, looking at the sky. Being a happy mother or a happy idol, normally, you can only choose one, but I want both. Hoshino Ai is ambitious. She said with a smile, looking at Goro and Izuku. Izuku, Hoshino. He said, catching the idol's attention. Izuku grabbed Ai's hands to make her look at him, slightly surprised. Izuku smiled with a determined look. Izuku, I'll support you in your decision. I'll make sure you're the happiest mother and the best idol there is. He said as I smiled broadly. Ai, thank you. She said as the green-haired boy nodded. Goro, I've made up my mind. He said as they both turned to look at him. Hoshino Ai, I'll make sure your children are safe. I looked at Goro and Izuku, then smiled with small tears in her eyes. Ai, thank you so much. Week 21. Goro, first things first, we need an alias for you at the hospital. Ai, is it necessary? Izuku, I mean, if we know about you, what stops more people from finding out? Ai, that's true. Alright, what nickname do we use? She said with a smile. Goro, what about? Idol? Izuku, you don't have much creativity for this, do you? He said with a poker face. Goro, no. He said, dejected, while I laughed slightly, and Izuku shook his head. Ai, do you have any ideas? She said, looking at Izuku. Izuku, one, but it's not very good. He said, laughing slightly, then saw I standing in front of him with a smile. Ai, and what is it? Izuku, little star? 66. Goro, Ai, Izuku, I know, it's horrible. Ai, no. It's not bad at all. In fact, I kinda like it. Izuku, oh. Thank you. Week 25. Goro, if we consider your return as an idol, there's an option for a painless delivery. Ai, alright, anyway, I'm super healthy. She said with a determined look. Izuku, but, in the meantime, he said, appearing behind Ai with a headband and a whistle. Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you do nothing. Let's do some exercises that pregnant women do to stay fit. Are you ready? Ai, yes. She said, raising her arms. Week 28. Goro, there's a high chance we might have to do a cesarean section. Man, huh? He said in shock. Goro, of course, if the baby's skull is too big, with your body type, it's common not to have enough space for a skull of that size. He said, looking at the 1.51 meters tall idol. Man, a scar on her stomach. Ai, no need to worry. I can handle a natural delivery. I mean, they're my kids. I'm sure they'll be little beauties with small faces. She said with a smile. Izuku, actually, I think you should consider the option that. I grabbed the green-haired boy's shoulders tightly, scaring him. Ai, they'll be born normally. She said with a cold voice as the green-haired boy nodded quickly in terror. Week 35. The man waved a small white flag back and forth that said surrender. Izuku, I think it's a bit late for that, he said with a small smile. The man only looked at the small flag for a moment before sighing and putting it away, while Izuku laughed slightly. Izuku, all right, left and right, you're doing great, little star. He said as I smiled. Thank you very much, she said while making a heart with her hands. Goro, I must admit, I have mixed feelings about seeing this, he thought as he watched Izuku and I, but I hide it with all my strength because I also support them. Lying is a form of love, this phrase is somewhat pleasant to me now. Izuku, and after so much waiting. The moment has come. Week 40, expected delivery date. Thank you for everything you've done. If I call you, please come quickly, she said lying on the hospital bed. Izuku, I'll be here for whatever you need, he said, holding the girl's hand as she squeezed it slightly. Goro, my house is nearby, so I'll be there quickly, he said as I nodded. Izuku, you'll see how everything will go well with Dr. Goro's help. But I want you to be the one to help me, she said pouting. Izuku, I doubt that will happen, but I'll be there assisting him, okay? Well, she said as Izuku laughed. Night. Goro walked down the street when a man in a black hoodie approached him from behind. Hey! Are you the doctor in charge of Hoshino Ai? Goro turned to look at the man with a serious expression, sensing that something was wrong. Goro, we're using an alias while she's under our care. Even if you saw her at the hospital, how did you know her name if it wasn't published? He said as the man became nervous. Are you related to her? Can I ask for your name? The man then ran past Goro. Goro, hey! Wait! Goro started running after the thief, going deeper into the mountain. Goro, is he a stalker? We're so close to giving birth to the babies, not now. Goro stopped to quickly look around without being able to find the man. Goro, I lost him, damn it, making me run through the mountain trail, he thought while shining the place with his phone. Where is he? Without him realizing, the man approached from behind and then. Hospital. The green-haired boy was pacing back and forth in the waiting room with a worried look. Izuku, where is he? He's taking too long on his walk. Nurse, coming in quickly, she's in labor. She said, leaving Izuku in shock. Izuku, now? The doctor hasn't arrived yet. Nurse, well, you'll have to do it. Izuku, turns to look at the hospital entrance. Fine, let's go, he said while adjusting his gown. Moment later. Izuku entered a room to see Ai smiling as she held two babies, a boy and a girl. Izuku, congratulations, he said, so I turned to look at him. You're officially a mother. Thank you so much for everything. Izuku, it was a pleasure. Everything went well. In a few days, you'll be discharged and able to leave, he said with a small smile. I don't want to leave you. She said, taking his hand. Izuku, don't say nonsense. You have to go back to Tokyo, you have to continue your dream of being an idol. Izuku. Izuku, you can't be with me. You have your life there, and I have mine here. Don't lie. Izuku, I have many things to do here. He said as his voice started to break. Don't lie. Izuku, I can't. Why are you lying? She asked with small tears in her eyes. Izuku, lying is a form of love, he said as tears began to fall from his eyes. It's for your own good. You are my good. Izuku, Izuku, I love you. The green-haired boy approached to connect his lips with the raven-haired girl's, and they separated, both with smiles on their faces. Izuku, I want to be a part of your life, even if you're a great idol and I'm just a useless guy. You're not useless, you're a great man, and I want you to be part of my life. Izuku, if you're okay with someone like me. If you're okay with a woman with kids like me. Izuku, I would be delighted. I would be delighted. They kissed again with love, a new step in both their lives, a significant step that could change the lives of many. Goro, to sum up what happened to me. It seems like I have died. Goro, a long but short story. I found out that my favorite idol was pregnant, had a great shock, and died. Goro, honestly, the memory of my death is very blurry. Maybe I'm still alive, but I guess it's impossible due to the circumstances. Goro, I always thought someone like me would go to hell, but Tokyo, Ai's apartment. I was sitting, holding a baby with a smile, while Izuku took a picture. Izuku, you two look really good together, said with a smile while looking at the photo. Thank you very much, said while hugging the baby. Goro, when I woke up, I was in heaven. Goro, this baby is my current self. I, who's a good boy, Aquamarine? Said as a sweat drop appeared on the baby. Aquamarine, anyway, I got stuck with a ridiculous guy. Goro, they gave me the name, Hoshino Aquamarine. Now I live as the son of Ai Hoshino and her secret boyfriend Izuku Midoriya. I'm still amazed that he's now like my father. Goro, if you ask me why this happened, I couldn't give you an answer. It took me time to finally accept this reality. Is this rebirth? No, reincarnation would be a bit more accurate. Why do my memories remain intact? I wonder, why did I keep them? Aquamarine, despite not being a great one, I'm still a doctor. Do I plan to decipher the principles behind this? Aquamarine, but for now. I just want to live this baby life to the fullest, thought while snuggling into Ai's chest. Izuku, Lucky said while I laughed slightly. Ai, your turn will come, said while Izuku nodded with a slight blush. Aquamarine, a baby's life, where my favorite idol adores me. For a tired adult like me. This gives me a good feeling, Babu. Izuku, I forgive you because you're too cute, said while lightly pinching Aquamarine's cheeks. Wah, a cry was heard from the crib next to them. I, here, said while handing Aquamarine to Izuku. Yes, I'm here, said while taking another baby from the crib. Goro, oh, right, there's another person in our family, Hoshino Ruby. She's my twin sister. Aquamarine, her name is better than mine. I want them to change my name even if it's too late, Ruby. Wah. I, why are you crying, Aqua? Said while looking at Ruby crying in her arms. Izuku, I. That's Ruby, said with a sweat drop while Aqua, in the arms of the green-haired one, had a poker face. Are you sure you're her mom? Said a voice coming from behind them. I and Izuku turned to see the manager with a young woman. I'm bad at remembering names and faces, said while grabbing Aqua from Izuku's arms. Isn't that right, my babies? Japanese men like to stereotype mothers. Manager, stop lecturing like a foreigner when you don't even have a passport. First of all, you're the one not allowing sessions outside the country. But I can remember people's names when I think they're talented. President Sato. Sato, shut up. My name is Saito, you crappy idol. Izuku, lifts Saito by the collar. Listen to me, you animal. I won't allow you to talk to my girlfriend like that, he said with an angry look as he tightened his grip. Izuku, put him down, she said as the green-haired guy reluctantly complied. Aquamarine, I know this man from my past life, he is the president of Ai's company, she said, observing the slightly scared man. Company, Strawberry Productions. Director, Saito Ichigo. Aquamarine, and his wife Saito Miyako. Saito, anyway, the idol, I will make her come back. Let's discuss what we're going to do from now on, he said as I nodded. Saito, your first appearance will be tonight on the singing show, you'll be Liv. Can you handle it? Of course. Saito, while I is working, my wife will take care of the kids, he said as the woman sighed. Izuku, actually, I want to offer to take care of them while I is away. Saito, you? I trust him, I know he'll do well, she said as Izuku nodded, and Saito just sighed. Saito, all right, he'll take care of the kids, he said as I smiled, and Miyako sighed in relief. Miyako, thank you, she whispered to the green-haired guy, who simply nodded. Your wife is so young. You know, the other members also dislike your favoritism towards young girls. Saito, oh, really? I'll be more careful. And can't I bring the kids with me to work? Saito, of course, you can't. Get it into your head. You're a 16-year-old idol with 2 kids and a boyfriend. If the world found out, your idol life would be over. Saito, they will question my responsibility as your director, and that would be the end of the company. We would all go to hell. Saito, you can't go shopping with your kids or handle documents. If there's an emergency, we'll take care of it. Huh? That's very annoying, don't you think, Ruby? She said while looking at Aqua. Izuku, that's Aqua, he said while holding Ruby. Oh, I didn't realize, she said while sticking her tongue out with a small smile. Aquamarine, at this rate, I will be a terrible mother, but at least Izuku is here to help her. We also get a lot of help from the company, so we'll be fine, she thought with a sweat drop while looking at her mother. Saito, we don't have much time, the recital will start soon. We have to go, he said as I nodded. Okay. Certainly. Here's a revised version without the intimate and vulgar scene. At that moment, Ai's shirt slipped off her shoulder. Aquamarine quickly helped her adjust it. Oops. Almost had a wardrobe malfunction there, she said, laughing lightly. Izuku, careful with that, he said, with a smile. Ai, no worries with you, he said while winking at her. Izuku started bleeding from his nose again, so Ruby covered his nose with the green-haired guy's shirt. Izuku, thanks, Ruby. Saito, please, be careful in public, he said while I chuckled slightly. Aquamarine, there's no way we're okay, she's very dangerous, she thought in shock. Hours later. Izuku, alright, everything's clean now. I has to learn to be more organized, he said with a small smile and a bead of sweat. Izuku entered the room to see Aquamarine sitting on the floor watching TV. Izuku sat next to the baby, who turned to look at him. Izuku, I thought you'd be sleeping like your sister, he said as Aqua turned to watch TV. Oh? Thanks, Komachi, for coming today. Izuku, oh, you want to see your mom? Okay, let's watch your mother, he said, getting comfortable. Aquamarine, she thought as she watched the idol smiling at the camera. And today we finally have I back. Are you okay? Have you been eating well? Yes, I've been eating a lot. Aquamarine, thank goodness she's okay. Oh, yes. Speaking of food. Earlier, my baby. Your baby? Izuku and Aqua were horrified by the serious mistake the idol had made. She realized it quickly to correct herself. Oh no, I meant my cat baby. Exactly. I started taking care of one during my break. 10. I see. Izuku and Aqua sighed in relief as they felt their souls almost leaving their bodies. Izuku, phew. That was close, he said while putting his hand on his chest. Aqua, well. I guess we're really not going to be okay after all. Scene. Worker, we'll switch cameras in 30 seconds. He said while looking at the group of idols. Good luck. I hope you have a wonderful performance. The man turned around to start walking away. A colleague approached him to start talking. Worker, Komachi, do you know this group? Worker, nope, and I don't care either. Worker 2, I've heard their recordings, they're neither good nor bad. I think groups like these sell these days. Worker 2, mass-produced idols. Worker 3, we have to give them compliments somehow, but what do we tell them? Worker 4, it seems the only good thing about them is their appearance on stage. I've heard of that group, but they haven't made any progress in the last 6 months. Who recommended them? Probably, they're not very well known. Strawberry Productions? I've never heard of them. There's a girl with breasts, she could be a model. Let's invite her to dinner, she would probably like that. In the world of entertainment, behind every smile, there's a calculated lie. No one can afford to create an opening during live broadcasts to ensure the best possible performance from a celebrity. Even team members spit out lies. The same goes for the big shots, they make it seem like they're creating good things for society when all they care about are the numbers. Everyone lies, even if they don't want to. Let's take on the challenge. So give it your best. She said with a big smile as she looked at the camera. Saito, are I up there? She's a magnificent liar. Apartment. Izuku was asleep on the couch while Aquamarine was watching TV. Aquamarine, that president is a bit crazy. If this comes to light for the public, they would lose everything. But I understand, we can't do anything but surrender. Goro, when a strong and bright light shines in front of them, people just stay to burn. Goro, we are like a swarm of moths attracted around a fire? A hooded man was watching the live broadcast of the idol group, staring at as hatred grew within him. Goro, even if our wings burn and fall, we can't stop. I'm no exception, I'm just happy I can be this close. I'm almost grateful. You, liar. And to think you have a kid, why? You disappointed me. Goro, to the man who killed me. Apartment. Aqua was watching TV while her sister and Izuku were asleep. He smiled as he watched Ai on stage. Goro, if this reincarnation was a miracle caused by her obsession with something, then it makes sense. Goro, truth be told, I wanted her to have normal and healthy children. There's no point in thinking too much about it. I can't beat a phenomenon. I think I'll enjoy it this way. Wait. Aqua turned back to see her sister awake. Ruby, and his step already started? Why didn't you wake me up? She said while crawling next to her brother. Wow. Mom is so cute. Everyone watching this should pay $1 million. Izuku, huh? He said waking up to see both siblings watching TV. Hey, How cute, he said and laid back down. Ruby, her expression when she turns around. It's demonic. Wait, maybe she's a demon? Oh darn, they just changed my diaper, but I'm about to dirty it again. Ruby takes out a phone. Cute face, good style, good singing, our mom is very talented. I have to watch the recording again, she said while Aqua looked at her with a poker face. Ruby, live broadcasts are only valuable when they're live. Why didn't you wake me up? This body is always tired, so help me out, please, she said annoyed, looking at Aqua. Aquamarine, I called you many times. Ruby, eh? Really? She said as Aqua sighed. Goro, Hoshino. Ruby, she's also someone who reincarnated, I really think. Ruby, let's watch this part again, she said as she rewound the recording. Cuteness overload. Goro, I wanted Ai to have normal and healthy children. Ruby, if she recorded it, I could watch it as many times as I want. Isn't that crazy? Goro, not suspicious, twins like us. Hours later. Ai, entering the apartment. I'm back, she said with a smile. I walked into the room to find Izuku lying on the bed with the twins on either side. Ai, so cute, she thought with a smile and a blush. I took out her phone to take several photos of the three, then she slowly climbed onto the bed to lie down on the green-haired guy's chest. She just sighed with a smile, then felt arms wrap around her. Ai, Izuku? She said, seeing the green-haired guy looking at her with a smile. Izuku, rest, he said as he began to stroke the girl's hair. Ai, she said, snuggling into Izuku's chest. I want this feeling to last forever. Izuku, it will. I'll always be by your side and protect you, no matter what it takes, he said, hugging Ai. Apartment. I was carrying Aqua in his arms while Izuku played with Ruby in the crib. Aqua's stomach growled, making Ai chuckle. Ai, are you hungry? Do you want me to feed you? Aqua blushed and quickly shook her head, confusing Ai. Ai, you don't want me to feed you? But you need to eat, he said, thinking. Izuku, maybe she'll like this, he said, handing a bottle to Aqua. Aqua grabbed the bottle quickly and started drinking from it eagerly. Ai, she seems to like the bottle, he said with a smile, while Izuku nodded with a sweat drop. Izuku, yeah. I wonder why? He said, watching Aqua drink from the bottle. Aqua, I can't make an idol breastfeed me, that's definitely crossing the line as an adult, she thought while drinking from the bottle, but this is good, she thought with a smile. Ruby started crying in her crib, grabbing everyone's attention. Izuku took the baby out of the crib, and she reached out to Ai. Ai, oh, you want more milk? He said as the baby nodded. All right, come here. I uncovered a breast to take Ruby from the green-haired guy's arms. The baby quickly began to suckle while I stroked her head. Ai, Ruby loves breastfeeding, he said, chuckling slightly. Ruby looked at Aqua, giving her a teasing smile. Aqua looked shocked and disgusted as Ruby continued to nurse. Aqua, this girl, she thought, shaking her head. I took Ruby from his chest with some effort and gave her back to Izuku. The baby pouted and then leaned against the green-haired guy's chest. Izuku, hee, still hungry, huh? He said as Ruby pouted. Ai, oh, look at that, he said, pointing to the TV. It's me, he said, making everyone look at the screen. 7th place in B. Komachi's Supermotor. Now on sale. Izuku, 7th place? That was fast? Ai, it's amazing, right? He said as Izuku nodded. Izuku, excuse me, I have to do some last-minute shopping, he said, and I laughed, understanding what he meant. Aqua, a bit amazing, isn't it? Our mother has a big secret. Aqua, she's an active idol with 2 kids and a boyfriend. If they catch her, we'd be in big trouble. Currently, she lives in 2 different worlds, the idol one and the family one. Aqua, we also have secrets. We've been reincarnated with awareness of our past lives. If we wanted to, we could walk and talk. Aqua, but of course, if we were caught, we'd end up being human guinea pigs. So, we live pretending to be normal babies. Aqua, and this also applies to my twin sister. It didn't take me long to figure out her identity, around the time I started accepting this reality. One night, when Izuku and I had fallen asleep. Flashback. Aqua crawled into Ai and Izuku's room. They were asleep, but there was a faint glow. Aqua crawled over to see Ruby with a cell phone in her hand. Ruby, huh? Die. You monkeys can't understand mom's talent and beauty. Have you tried to see the quality of her performance? She's the company's favorite. She said angrily while typing quickly on the phone. I bet you're just an old and ugly grandma. Go to the mirror and try saying that again, witch. Aqua, this girl searched for B. Komachi on Twitter and started a war against the haters. Aqua, could it be that you're just like me? She said, catching Ruby's attention. Ruby, huh? She said, turning to her brother. The baby spoke. Ew, that's so gross. Aqua, you're not that different. Ruby's scream made the green-haired guy wake up. Aqua quickly turned off the cell phone and lay on the floor, pretending to be asleep. Izuku, huh? How did you get out of the crib? Ruby, ba. She said, reaching her arms out to Izuku. Izuku, you must be hungry. All right, a bit of milk, and back to the crib, okay? He said, carrying both babies and leaving the room. Aqua, that was close. End of flashback. Aqua, well, we are twins after all. I thought about the possibility of that. Saito, let's go, they're waiting for us, he said as I nodded and grabbed his bag. Goodbye. He said as both babies ignored her. Izuku, good luck, he said as I smiled. Thanks, she said, giving a kiss on the green-haired guy's cheek and leaving. Izuku just stood there with a slight blush, then closed the door and went to the kitchen. Aqua, you should control yourself a bit, she said, making her sister look at him. Ruby, why? She said, then remembered, oh, I'm his daughter, it's normal for him to breastfeed me, she said while Aqua looked at her sister with a sweat drop. Aqua, I'll ask just in case, but were you a girl in your past life? Ruby, yup. Aqua, oh. I guess that's fine then, she said as Ruby smirked. Ruby, your jealousy is disgusting. I mean, it would obviously be bad if an old man breastfed. Oh, thank God I was born as a girl with the right to taste breasts. Aqua, from a moral standpoint, that's also very wrong. Ruby, poor mom, to think her son is an obsessed fan, how gross. Oh, I feel sorry for her, I'd definitely protect her with my life. Even though dad is already doing that. Aqua, you're definitely worse than me. She said with a disgusted look, I bet she was like this in her past life. Well, I never met a fangirl. Oh wait, I did meet one, she thought as Serena's image flashed in her mind. Ruby's body tensed for a few seconds, then a blush of embarrassment appeared on her face. Ruby, I need a diaper change, so scram. She said, pulling Aqua out of her thoughts. Aqua, all right. She said as she left the room. Ruby started crying, and Izuku quickly entered. He understood the situation and took out the diapers to start changing Ruby. Once finished, the green-haired guy stood still for a few seconds before sighing heavily, grabbing the attention of both babies. Izuku, what am I doing with my life? He said, leaning his head against the wall. I went from being a medical assistant to being a house husband. I do it for her, for them. But do they even care? Does she really love me? I mean, she told me herself and even kissed me. But what if it was all fake? I need something to vent. Izuku entered the kitchen again, leaving the two shocked babies in the living room. Ruby, uh-oh. Aqua, this is bad. Ruby, what do we do? I can't lose my dad, I can't lose the yummy baby food he makes, she said with tears in her eyes. Aqua, we need to help him regain confidence and know that mom loves him. I forget how depressing she could be, she said and thought while starting to think of something. Ruby, I know. We have to force that trust with punches. She said, punching the air. Aqua, we can't, our bodies aren't strong enough to harm him at all. She said while Ruby looked at her brother in shock. Ruby, are you seriously considering that option? I was just joking. Both watched as Izuku took out a bottle of wine from one of the kitchen drawers, causing them to start getting alarmed. Ruby, what do we do? He's going to get drunk. Aqua, I have an idea, she said, approaching her sister and starting to whisper something. Kitchen. Izuku, here's the corkscrew, he said as he took the object from the drawer. You're stupid, having those depressing thoughts. Said, alerting the green-haired guy. Izuku, who's there? He said, quickly turning and pointing with the corkscrew. Izuku then froze upon seeing both babies on the table with crossed arms. Izuku, what? Aqua, I am a messenger of God. And those thoughts of yours are something I cannot ignore. She said, pointing at Izuku. Izuku, messenger of God? He said, then shook his head. Wait, did you just talk? It can't be. Aqua, is it common sense for you that a baby can talk? You have to believe it. Izuku, no, it's not possible, and even if it were, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God, he said, getting nervous. This must be some kind of joke, at any moment someone's going to come out with a camera and. He said, then froze, only Saito and Miyako know about this, and they wouldn't do something like this. Our Ruby, sweetheart, please get down from the table, he said, trying to grab the baby. Ruby slapped Izuku, then stood up while Izuku was in shock. Ruby, deadly silence. I am the physical form of Amaterasu. I am what you call a god. Izuku slowly backed up until he hit the kitchen cabinet, lifted his head to see both babies looking at him seriously. Ruby, your mind has been clouded by negative thoughts about your relationship with the idol Ai Hoshino, she said as Izuku lowered his head. God chose you two to be the best couple the world has ever seen and to together shape the next generations of celebrities. Izuku, is it a joke, right? There's no chance she'd want something like that with me. Ruby, didn't you hear? You were chosen by God, said while raising their arms. You two are the most compatible in all of existence. Izuku, but. Aqua, she loves you, said to make Izuku look at Aqua. Have you looked into her eyes every time she's with you, have you? Izuku, her eyes shine like the stars, said with a small smile as Aqua smiled. Ruby, and have you seen her face every time she's with you? Izuku, it's as beautiful as the sunrise. And her beautiful smile. So she does. Aqua, that's right, don't lose your confidence now that you know your love is reciprocated, mortal. Ruby, and remember. You must love and protect her with your life. And you must cherish her children and love them as if they were your own. Izuku, yes. Said while bowing, I promise. Moments later. Both siblings watched as Izuku cooked with a smile while humming a song. Both siblings smiled satisfied before returning to the living room. Ruby, yes. I don't have to worry about losing the delicious food. Said with a smile while raising her arms. Aqua, by the way, that performance was very good. Were you an actress in your past life? Said so his sister would look at him. Ruby, huh? Nope, it's the first time I've done it, said while Aqua was confused. Aqua, first time? You didn't participate in school plays either? Ruby, I didn't grow up in a normal environment unlike the others. Aqua, oh, I see. So it was pure talent. You should be an actress in the future. Ruby, the future? I hadn't thought about that. Night. Izuku and I were asleep together in bed, for some strange reason. Aqua saw his sister sleeping on the floor, he put a blanket on her and then stayed watching. Aqua, now I have a younger sister, she's weird and obsessed with idols, but. Flashback. Serena, you'll see, she's good at dancing, has charisma too. Said turning to Goro, I love I more than anything in the world. But. I love you just as much. End flashback. Aqua, the way you talk about I is so similar to yours. Serena. Ruby, bah. What? Did you call me? Said waking up. Aqua, oh, sorry, did I wake you? I didn't talk to you, but besides that, if you're going to sleep, sleep in your bed, said as Ruby left the room. Ruby, NNGH, of course you didn't call me, it's not possible, since Serena was my previous name.